If you can find your way of doing what you really enjoy and pausing and not letting yourself be swayed by anything, then whatever you're doing, your job, your life, the family, anything, you can already enjoy it in that moment. And you can listen to all the people say and do what they want, but hey, you know what? I'm already living my life right here, right now. Take a pause, take a step back, because you really have to reflect on what you're doing and make sure that you're doing it your right way, the way that you feel that you should be doing it. Because that's the way you can make this last forever. How influenceable are you? I really want you to sit with that question throughout this episode and review and just really honestly think about what influences you get, how people, whatever medium, whatever way they add things to your head, and how easily you sway with them. Where the previous episode was about opinions, about how we share what we let out, this one is about how we take that in, all the information that we receive. Because throughout the day, and especially now, this time with the social media, and this isn't something new, right? Because it isn't just about what we see on the screens or wherever. It's all the people around us, family, friends, partners, anyone we interact with. They have certain ways of trying to sway us into what they believe the right life is, or how we should act, or question us in a certain way that make us doubt our own actions. And believe me, I know everything about it. But this is how can we stay true to ourselves, listen to those voices, disregard some of them that we don't really need anything about, but honestly look at the information and see what we can take out of it. Because this isn't an episode to shut yourself off from the world. It's really about looking at the world with the right eyes, listening to them with clear ears, right? Without having your opinions or your views changed so dramatically, but still being flexible enough to allow yourself to move into the right direction, to have your own judgment corrected, to question it as well, but doing so in a healthy and balanced way. And although this is a modern world, we talk about this a lot, AI, we have social media, we have all these people with hundreds of thousands, if not millions or billions of followers or whatever. But this is not something new. This has happened throughout all of history. There are people who try to get people's attention, at least, or large groups, make movements, trends, and then hope that everybody listens to them to give them power, to give them money, to give them whatever they need, right? Whatever their benefits are. And yet we are individuals. Even if you are in a big group, you can still have, as what the Stoics say, your own judgments and opinions. That's what you control, and that's where you create your freedom. So even if you're within this group, you can still ask yourself, do I fit in here? What is really being said? Is this something that aligns with who I am? Or am I now being taken along in this very violent stream of views of where it's going to go? And it is good to take that pause. It is good to take a step back and see, where am I right now? It's not always easy, right? Because we have this innate sense of needing to belong to a big group. Being isolated or being an individual is scary. You have to stick your neck out sometimes or remove yourself from the group. And it feels safer to be with others, but you really have to stay true to yourself. And that's really, really, really difficult. And these voices, these influencers, if you will, and this is not just what we see on the screens. This is, again, the family, friends, teachers, all these people that, oftentimes we put a lot of trust in, that they have the best for us, the best intentions for us in their mind. We still have to be critical. We still have to make sure that we keep, as the Stoics say, our own prohairesis, right? Our own moral choice, that we still understand that at the end of the day, with all the information, with everything we see, it is still up to us to make that decision, to make that judgment, to make sure that we base it on what is real, factual, not adding all these different layers on top of it, like the emotions, like all these things. No, we've got to look at what it is and then say, okay, what's really happening here? What is the true information? And what is really the right course of action for me to take? Because that's still up to you, no matter what anybody says. And I have to be completely honest. I have given away my prohairesis, my moral choice, my judgments away too many times. And I still do it so easy. And it's just, there's a sense of not really laziness, but there's a sense of just ease of giving your views away to other people, right? Not having to decide, not having to say, oh, this is what I want to do, or this is the right course of action. But there's something vital that you are then giving up. And that's yourself, your freedom, because now you are depending on others. Now you are relying on them to make the right choice. And then you have to follow. You have to follow what they say. And as a people pleaser, looking for that external validation, that's what you tend to do. Because if you don't, oftentimes it leads to rejection. Oftentimes it leads to angry faces, or at least displeased faces. And that's something you can't have. So you follow what they say. And then even the tiniest of voice, the tiniest of opinion can move you from where you really don't want to go. And that's why it's important to have, as I say, and I really try to inspire people to have your philosophy of life, to really understand what your intentions is about what you're doing here in this present moment, how you're living it, what your values and priorities are. Because if you have them straight, if you know what it's about that you're doing here and what you really want to achieve or how you want to experience it, then you can let these voices be for whatever they are. They're not bad. They're not good. It's just how you react to them. And we've seen those reactions in the opinion episode just before this one, where it's oftentimes this impulse, right? We get like, oh, this is some injustice, this is something bad has happened, I need to react. And these are not necessarily the worst influences, the worst reactions that we have. A lot of the times it's when we feel about something positive, when it's something inspiring, when it's something motivating. Because when we feel there's a negative connotation to it, we tend to already kind of scrutinize it. But if it feels like, especially what you see now when people talk about it, it's like, oh, I'll have all these great ways of making a lot of money for you, or how to lose weight in all of these days. This is a system that you've got to follow. If you want to be successful, if you want to be famous, if you want to have thousands of followers, or if you want to have a great career, this is what you've got to do. And I can tell you exactly how to do it. Just send me your money. Just sign up for this, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people get swayed by that. And that's the influence that might be more dangerous, because the consequences will show up along the road. And then you see you've been taking on this journey that isn't really yours. But because it was so positive, because it was so enticing and so inspiring, you've let yourself go. When it's something more negative, when you feel that sting, you tend to pause a little bit faster, and that movement doesn't last as long. But if it's something positive, you're just like, yeah, and I've been on there as well. It's like, wow, look, my numbers are going up. People are listening to me. People are watching me. They're commenting, they're doing this, they're doing that. And then they go down the numbers, and then you're like, oh, but I've really given myself away here. I've really started to build this rat race for myself where I have to post, where I have to do this, where I have to do that. And that's something that I've been working on these last couple of months to a year or something, to say, you know what, I like to go outside. I don't always have to be in front of the camera or behind my laptop. And I enjoy this. I really do. I really enjoy it, what I'm doing. And I'm super fortunate that I get to do this. But I also realize that there are limits, and life is still happening. In the mornings I wake up, I'm at my parents' place. I walk the dog, I feed the chicken, I take care of things here around the house to really interact. And this is something that even Musonius Rufus said in one of his essays or one of his lectures, that he encouraged the philosopher, the people, to be outside, to do something physical, to really interact with the real world instead of just with a screen. And that's why I go on these Stoic walks, to talk to people, to be out there and to really interact. Didn't even expect that would give me such satisfaction, a good feeling. And there are conversations with people who we are not aligned in philosophical ways at all, but just because having a dialogue in such a way, and the physical aspect of walking, that really brings you into a different zone of just listening and just, absorbing and being swayed. No, it's about the interaction, the dialogue. But that's also what I had when I felt like things are going well. So especially in those moments when you feel uplifted, motivated, very, passionate about what you're going to do, take a pause, take a step back, because you really have to reflect on what you're doing and make sure that you're doing it your right way, the way that you feel that you should be doing it, because that's the way you can make this last forever. And there's a story about a fisherman and a banker, where a person who was fishing, and the banker came over, was like, wow, you're really successful. You catch a fish, you pretty much sell it before you hit the shore. If you invest, you buy some more boats, you really build your business out, and you can really make a lot of money. And the fisherman asks, like, so why? Why do you do this? So, when you're older, you can go out on your boat, catch fish, and enjoy the rest of your day. He's like, that's what I'm already doing. And if you can find your way of doing what you really enjoy and pausing and not letting yourself be swayed by anything, then whatever you're doing, your job, your life, the family, anything, you can already enjoy it in that moment. And you can listen to all the people say and do what they want, but hey, you know what? I'm already living my life right here, right now. Whatever everybody says, it's information. It's all information. And we've got to weigh it. We've got to judge it for what it is. Some of the information is just really not for us. We really don't have to take that along with us. Others parts are, yes, they are important, especially when it's about reflecting, especially if it's about questioning what we're doing. But if you're in a calm flow, just let it be. Just listen to it. See what it is, take it for what it is. And then when you feel you're being pulled in one way or another by something that someone said in a positive and a negative way online or in your personal life, just as we talk about, take a pause, reflect on what it is, see what direction it's trying to take you, see if that aligns with where you are going and how you feel about it. And if not, let it go. Just let it flow away. It'll go somewhere else and you'll be fine on your path. There's no real need to have other people dictate what you want to do. That's what the Stoics say. Your personal freedom lies in your choice, in your judgments, in acting the best way you can, in a pro-social way. That's why this is not about shutting yourself off. This is about letting everything come in, filtering it through your own processor, taking what you need and letting the rest go. So influences are not new. This is not something that we have just, invented because we are so special in these modern times. We have just amplified it. We have just created algorithms that really encourage those who have the loudest, the sharpest, the most provocative voices, or maybe the most inspiring ones, to reach stages they probably would have not had back in the day. At least not with the reach that they have right now. But this is not something new. And we have the mental capacity to deal with it. The Stoics knew this 2,000 years ago, and they're not going away. They're going to stay here. And the question is not whether you will encounter them, but how you deal with them. Because the judgment is yours. Don't hand it away.